Hello, welcome back to the medicals. So today I have something important to share with you, something mind-blowing, and I'm very sure that you are going to love this one. 3 reasons why your infection still comes back after treatment. Have you been in a situation whereby you just take care of some infections in your system and probably after a few weeks or a few months you are coming down with the same fucking infection? Like, what happened? You just treated this infection and how come it's coming back this time? Well, you may need to stick to this video to get to know the reasons why your infection still comes back after treatment. So let's get started because there's no time. Number 1 reason why your infection still persists after treatment is because number 1, you don't complete your antibiotics treatment. Yes, you don't complete your antibiotic regimen. As simple as this might sound, permit me to explain. When we talk about antibiotics, we are talking about microorganisms. And these microorganisms are different in terms of their reproductive system compared to human beings. In other words, they don't need a partner to multiply. They multiply asexually by means of binary fission, whereby one bacteria will just multiply by cell division, multiply, dividing, and after 10 days or a few days or a few hours, depending on the incubation period of this particular bacteria, it have multiplied to millions. So talking about infection, in relating it to infection, when one is infected, let me say a reproductive system infection like not staphylococcus, that's too common. Let me say some E. coli have migrated to one's reproductive system and start giving you series of infection, and you come down with discharge and odor and pains and itching and all those things, and you decide to see your doctor and start treatment, and maybe your doctor prescribes some antibiotics for you, maybe for a duration of 10 days or 14 days, and you start taking these antibiotics. At the 5th day or at the 5th dose, you feel like you are fine. Why? Because you feel like all the symptoms have stopped, the itching, the discharge, and everything is dried up, and you are now fine. You no longer see the reason to continue these antibiotics because it seems the reason why you're taking these drugs have been solved. So the remaining part of the medication, you tend to throw it away because you think or you believed that you are fine. Well, what you don't know is that, let me assume that this E. coli that's giving you these symptoms in your reproductive system, let me say they are 100, let me say they are 100 pieces in your system. I'm using the word pieces, it's not the accurate word, but I'm using it because I want you to understand. Let me say there are 100 pieces in your system, and it's this 100 that is giving you those symptoms, those discharge, those pain, those odor, and all those things. And now you start taking your antibiotics after the 5th day. Let me say 97% of the bacteria have been eradicated. The antibiotics have taken care of 97% of these bacteria. So when you take care of this thing, you no longer feel all those symptoms again because it's 3% is remaining, and that 3% bacteria that is remaining does not have power. They are insignificant to cause you those symptoms again. In other words, you're not going to be feeling those symptoms, so you're going to believe that you are fine. Now, based on the reproductive system or how these bacteria multiply, when you now stop these drugs, these bacteria, depending on the incubation period, even if it's 1 that remain, even if it's 2, they will start multiplying, and after a few days they are going to reach thousands or millions depending on their incubation period, and they will come back to that same number that was able to start giving you those symptoms, maybe 100 pieces, like I use an example. And when they multiply and reach the 100 pieces, you will see yourself coming down with those same issues, those same symptoms again, and you'll be like, what happened? What? I just treated myself some time ago. What happened? No, you actually treated yourself, but 3% is remaining, and those 3% have multiplied and reinfect you. I mean, they have multiplied and reached a number whereby you start feeling those symptoms again. And the funny thing this time, when this second when they multiply and you start seeing this issue again, it's no longer going to be like the first time. Now it's going to be tougher. Now it's going to be worse. Why? Because of what we call super infection. It's coming back with brothers and sisters. And what made it worse this time is because even the drugs you used that first time, if you want to use it, if you want to apply it this time, it's likely not going to work because of what we call antibiotic resistance. Those bacteria have been sensitized. They have formed enzymes against that antibiotics they used initially. So when you apply it this time, it's no longer going to be as sensitive as it is in that first time. So if you are not completing your antibiotics regimen, you are likely to be reinfected, because after the antibiotics have taken care of 90% of your infections, you will be fine. But some strains are still remaining, some bacteria are still remaining. That is why antibiotics treatment are usually taking, let me say, from 7 to 14 days, depending on the severity of infection. Even after treatment, you still have to do a test to make sure that this bacteria is eradicated from your system. Let me go straight to the second reason why your infection refuses to go. Number 2 is because of recontamination or reinfection. It tends to go back to where you have gotten this from. Still using the reproductive system infection as an example. Probably you get it from your wife, from your husband, from your boyfriend, from your girlfriend, and you have treated yourself and you are fine. Anytime you go back to collect, then you will collect it back. No, that's life makes sense. Anytime you go back to meet your partner, they will reinfect you and you see yourself coming down with that same infection. That's why in the hospital, when we want to treat especially reproductive system infection, we ask you to come with your spouse so that we treat both of you, so that one don't infect the other person. Let me get to number 3 reason why your infection refuses to go, or why your infection still comes back after treatment. The third reason, allow me to explain this, is antibiotic resistance. Yes, antibiotic resistance. Your body is now resisting some antibiotics. Some antibiotics is no longer working in your system. Yes. And how do your body start reducing? How do your body develop antibiotic resistance? How did that one happen? I'm going to tell you. Number 1, consumption of antibiotics unnecessary. Every small thing antibiotics, every small thing antibiotics, any small thing antibiotics. You don't even do tests. When you don't do tests to know the sensitivity of, it's not every antibiotics they're going to work for. It's not every antibiotic they're going to work for every bacteria. So if you do tests, you are more likely to use the right antibiotic for the right bacteria, instead of you try this one, it doesn't work, you change to another one. When you are using multiple antibiotics, you are exposing your body to antibiotic resistance. When actually you get infected and those simple drugs that are supposed to work for that infection are no longer going to work because antibiotic resistance have set in due to your multiple use of antibiotics. You may need to use another new drug, and this is financially tasking and it's difficult to treat when there is antibiotic resistance in your system. So you may need to stop taking antibiotics unnecessarily. Please take antibiotic when it's prescribed for you or when you have done the appropriate test. Okay. So another reason why how you expose your body to antibiotic resistance is what we call skipping of medication, skipping of your antibiotics. Let me explain this to you. When we talk about skipping of antibiotics, if antibiotics is given to you probably 8 hourly or 12 hourly, your doctor tells you to take this medication, take this antibiotic 8 hourly or 12 hourly. What it actually means is that when you first take the first dose, those microorganisms, maybe 50% will be killed. It's not all of them that will be killed when you give the first dose. So those ones that are remaining, they will now be weak. I'm just trying to illustrate, trying to demonstrate. They will now be weak, they are now weak. And if your antibiotics is 12 hourly, in the next 12 hours, there's something we call bioavailability in pharmacology. That is now, in the next 12 hours, these drugs is likely to be going out of your system. And because these drugs is likely to be going out of your system, the bacteria, the ones that remain, they want to stand up, they want to wake up. So you are expected to knock them, these antibiotics, again in the next 12 hours. So in the next 12 hours, if you miss this dose because you don't take it serious, because you think we are fine, because you are sleeping also, if you mix this dose in that next 12 hours, those antibiotics, those bacteria, by that time the first dose have gone because 12 hours is passed and you did not knock them the second dose for them to die again. So they will not wake up, they will not be like, they will talk to their brothers and sisters. Hey, what happened? Which antibiotic they knock us like that? Oh, more strong. Oh, more, see, this person don't die. See, this my guy don't die. So now we survive. Them that survive, they will now come together. They will now release some enzyme. They will form something like a clone, and that is where how resistance starts. So that when you now give the antibiotic, when you even realize and give the antibiotics again, it's no longer going to work. or even if you work, it's going to be minimal. It's no longer going to work because what you have sensitized them, and they have produced enzyme, a kind of antibody relating to that particular antibiotics that you get them at that first time. So that is why if your antibiotics is 12 hourly, you must take it like that. That is the right way to take it. If you skip medication, don't skip antibiotics. If you're skipping antibiotics, you are exposing your body to antibiotic resistance. Okay, the third reason how you expose your body to antibiotics resistance is by underdosage. That is, you are not taking the right dosage. That is why if you want to take antibiotics especially, you need to get the prescription from doctor. If you take a dose that is not what you're supposed to take, if you take on the dose to your system, it's not going to kill those bacteria. In fact, you're even doing more harm. It's better you don't even take antibiotics than taking on the dose, because when you take on the dose, you are sensitizing those pathogens in your system. Because the dose or the antibiotic that you give in your system it doesn't have the power to kill them, but they will receive the signal. They will feel that thing there. It will be like a vaccine. They receive a vaccination, so they will form antibody against that antibiotic, so that next time it's not gonna work. Even when you wake up from your sleep and they kind of know that I'm giving on the dose and I need to increase the dose. When you increase the dose and give the antibiotics, it's no longer gonna work. It's no longer gonna work because you have first sensitized them, and they have formed a clone. That is why usually the first dose of antibiotic we normally give. Sometimes we give a higher dose. After the higher dose, there is something we call maintenance dose. So this is the stuff behind that higher dose I just explained to you. So that is the reason why or how you expose your body to antibiotic resistance. I have more videos that is dropping very soon. So if you like this video, subscribe so that when I post those videos, it's gonna pop up on your phone. And when you are free, you can watch them. Thank you from the medicals.